With the 12th Sunday in Ordinary Time, Jesus sort of continues the same theme he did last week, and that's with the sending of the apostles out into the world to drive out demons, to heal the sick, to proclaim the good news. And so we need to have something of that idea of being sent in our own hearts as well as we hear this today. So that's Jesus' main theme, but you know he's teaching as well, like he knows the hearts of his people might be resistant to going out and doing this, right? But he says, don't be afraid even of being brought to the point of death. You have nothing to fear, even if your life on earth is taken from you. He says, don't be afraid of that. You know, be afraid of your eternal life being taken from you. That's what you should actually be concerned about. He says, look, you know, like God the Father cares so much about every last aspect of his creation. Even a little bird, you know, God knows everything about. And in what I think, I would love to hear Jesus say it in real life, but I think this is one of the funniest things he says. Maybe a little tongue-in-cheek. He says, you know, God cares about all these little sparrows, and you're worth a lot of sparrows, right? So whether he meant it to be that funny or not, I don't know, but I think it's hilarious. So he says you're worth so much more than that. Don't be afraid of losing your life on earth. God has, you know, you taken care of if you only, you know, make it obvious that you stand for him. If you know, proclaim his word. If you tell others about Jesus, seek healing in their lives, and to bring about the goodness of God in their hearts. Like, that's what really matters. And, you know, that second reading goes along with this quite well. You know, it matches up, it times up well that St. Paul talks about that the wages of sin are death, right? Like, that's you know, and it's the eternal death, right? Like death entered the world because of sin. That's the reality, right? Like, we wouldn't die, but death is a consequence of sin. And he goes through that whole thing. Sin entered the world through one man, but through sin, death came. And for us, you know, it's important to remember that, you know, Jesus brings about this new life in us, and he is the only one in whom we can find the fullness of life that we long for, you know. And again, you know, as Jesus has put together the remedy, or put the remedy in place, you know, it's almost ironic or a paradox of sorts, that the only way to eternal life is through death in this life. So again, you know, we have nothing to fear, you know, in dying itself or being killed. You know, if our life is lived for God above all else, well, you know what? The remedy, the way to eternal life is through death. So we have nothing to fear. But again, you know, he calls us, he challenges us to be a people who reflect Christ in our life, to be a people who aren't afraid, you know, to propose to someone. You know, have you tried prayer? You know, have you given your life over to Christ? You know, can I invite you to experience God in a deeper way, you know, in my parish? You know, can I pray with you? Can I pray for you? You know, any of these different ways, you know. Jesus says you need to be willing to do that. You know, you really need to be willing to do that. That's kind of the marker, right? That shows that you desire the fullness of life within you. So, you know, let's go out on mission. You know, let's pay attention to those in our lives that are in need of the healing and restorative power of Jesus, and really, you know, let's seek him in our own hearts. Let us know the dignity and privilege that it is to be his followers and his apostles as he sends us out into the world.